Mohammed Awais is a Palestinian-American political analyst. He joins me now from Houston in the United States. Mr. Abbas and Mr. Fayyad had been battling for some time over quite a few issues, but notably about just how much authority the Prime Minister had. So does that mean that Mr. Abbas has won that personal political battle?
Not really, not yet. But what goes around comes around. Mr. Mahmoud Abbas himself have done that with Yasser Arafat and accepted the prime ministership back in 2000 in order to marginalize Mahmoud Abbas. And then he had to resign, and he resigned, and it was Mr. Korea who took over from him. And then we got into a stalemate. I think we're going to go into another stalemate now because of the misbehavior of both parties. I mean, not just Mahmoud Abbas and Salam Fayyad, but also Hamas and their misbehavior and mismanagement of the Palestine affairs, not the Palestine Authority, not the PLO, all the Palestine affairs and the so-called peace process. That is where we are now. What's his name? Fayyad or Abbas cannot make any difference in the issue because Israel is still insisting on building settlements and building a wall around the West Bank and blockading Gaza. You cannot negotiate under all these pressures, plus Fayyad was imposed on the Palestinian Authority by the West in order to manage, to be their money manager, to manage the affairs of the municipal affairs of the Palestinian area.
I mean, you started off by saying what goes around comes around. I mean, most arguments in life come down to money. And in this case, it's how the money and Palestinian aid is spent, isn't it? Isn't it as straightforward as that? But I mean, I know there are other arguments between the men about the level of authority or how much power each had.
Absolutely. Money plays a major role here, and very few people know that Mr. Salam Fayyad have put the Palestinians who have no income per se under $3.9 billion of debt to the outside. It is not only the aid money that comes from the United States, the Western Europeans, and from the Arab countries. No, he was borrowing money in the name of the Palestinians and running only municipal affairs. There is nothing going towards building statehood, towards building a nation. In fact, what we get from Mahmoud Abbas, from Salam Fayyad, and all the money, the hundreds of millions of dollars that came to the Palestine Authority is a division between Hamas and Abbas, between Gaza and the West Bank, and a stalemate that we don't see an end anywhere in the future.
It comes once again to divisions at the top of the Palestinian leadership. And I'm just wondering whether the argument about money, but if there's a division and there's no diplomacy happening because of division, then it doesn't augur well for any kind of kick-starting a possible peace process, does it? Because Mr. Fayyad was well thought of internationally.
Well, let me say about the money situation. A recent poll, opinion poll in the West Bank and in Gaza about the corruption level in the authority of Salam Fayyad, and about 80% of the people said it is corrupt, and about 60% of the people of Gaza said that the administration of Gaza under Hamas is 60% corrupt. So nobody can ride his high horse here and say he's better than the other.
I don't know those polls, and I don't know those statistics where those figures come from. But so I do know his background, and internationally he was very well thought of.
Okay, well, he was very well thought of in his circles, but at the same time, a wall was built all around the West Bank and made the West Bank as a big prison for the Palestinians, and Gaza was blockaded, and it's still blockaded. And yes, there was development on the ground. I'm not going to just talk bad about the man, but he is not a politician. He is only a manager, a money manager for the Palestine Authority, the West Bank branch, but he wasn't authorized to negotiate peace because he is not in the PLO, he is not the PLO, and peace talks are between the PLO and the Israelis. The Israelis are not interested in peace. They are still building settlements. And on our side, on the Palestinian side, there is nobody who is really trustworthy, the Palestinian people trust, to negotiate on their behalf. So it is a total failure of the new approach from 2000 until now.
Mohammed Awais, many thanks for joining us from Houston in Texas.
Thank you.